Hello. Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? I have been spending a lot of time live with all of you. And it's my pleasure and my honor, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to do that. There are so many new followers, and I want to say thank you to all of you and welcome. Those of you that are new to me, I'm Amy Raup of amyraup.com. I'm the author of quite a few books. Here's two of them. This is my brand new one that just came out, The Egg Quality Diet, Cha-Cha-Cha. She's also behind me right there. Another one that I'm very popular for is called Yes, You Can Get Pregnant. Another one of my books is called Body Belief. You can see all my books on my website at amyraup.com. I am in the field of women's health and, got my book in the mail today. Yay! I know. So there's shipping finally. Amazon had some delays with, my latest book literally came out on Sunday, the 13th. So people are getting them in the mail now and I'm so excited. Please, please, please share pictures of you with the book or pictures of recipes. Make sure you're leaving reviews for this baby. It really helps us reach more people. Reviews on Amazon are the most helpful, and that's how I think this fan base is growing so much too. People are finding my book on Amazon, then they're finding me. So a backstory about me, I've been an acupuncturist and herbalist for 17 years in private clinical practice. Prior to that, I was a research scientist. I have a biology and chemistry degree. I have master's level education in neuroscience. And then I also have a master's degree in traditional Chinese medicine. I've been in clinical practice, like I said, for 17 years. And I've been helping women all over the world get and stay pregnant for 17 years. Thousands of women. And so my books are not so much about Chinese medicine. They're a lot about Chinese medicine theory, but not so much about use this acupressure point, more about diet, lifestyle, mindset, best ways you can support yourself to optimize your health. And so the last, one Thursday a month we do book club. And the first book we're working through is Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, which is one of my best. This is currently a bestseller as well, but up until this book came out, this was my best-selling book on Amazon. This is now doing better than this one. But what today's book club chapter is about, so for those of you that have copies of Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, and those of you that are new to me, I still recommend getting both of these books, not just one or the other. And I do see sales for this book going strong as this book has come out. So I do think they're great companion guides, and I do think they give you separate, different, very useful information. So for this time of the month when we do book club, we are up to chapter 5, which is, let me just go through it with you. But what I want to do today is a little different than what we've been doing in regards to the traditional book club where I'm going through the specific chapter. So chapter 5 in Yes, You Can Get Pregnant is all about eating for optimal nutrition and egg quality, the Yes, You Can Get Pregnant diet. Now, obviously, I wrote this book before I wrote this book, which just came out on Sunday. I wrote this book back in 2014. And so since then, I've had even more experience helping women on their path to conception. I myself have continued to learn and grow education-wise. Studying functional medicine, nutrition at a deeper level. My clinical experience is really the leader in what teaches me so much. And so what I want to first say, before I say anything else, is the diet in this book is extremely effective. I think the diet in this book can be even more effective depending on the case. So that's what I want to spend today talking about, is the differences and why I might lead with this diet these days, and that they're actually not that different. So if you've already have Yes, You Can Get Pregnant and you're following this diet, and as I say in the egg quality diet, I say it somewhere. Let's see if I can find it fast. I say, can I really? Okay, so I say it right here. When I wrote Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, one of the best-selling books on all things fertility, I included a meal plan that is much like other fertility diets out there. a mix of the Mediterranean and paleo diet with a strong focus on antioxidant-rich foods like vegetables and fruit, good quality protein and fat. That kind of diet definitely works for helping some women get pregnant. So don't fret if you've been following the Yes You Can Get Pregnant diet. Don't fret, okay? No fret. No worries. It's still a great starting point and it works for a lot of women. In fact, I still strongly recommend and consider Yes You Can Get Pregnant to be one of the best and most comprehensive fertility books out there, as it covers so much more than diet. So definitely give it a read if you haven't already. But I have found this clinically, that the general paleo and or Mediterranean fertility diet doesn't help all women. And here are a few reasons why. It can be too general, leaving room for error, which I feel at fault here too. And I'm going to go through that with you guys. Many of the women following these diets don't get the right macronutrients, which is the percentage of fat, carbohydrates, and protein for their fertility. Many of the women, and also I will say that when I wrote Yes You Can Get Pregnant, there wasn't as much research as there is now about the importance of macronutrients and the right macronutrients for fertility. Most of the women who have gone gluten-free eat too many processed, packaged, sugar-laden, gluten-free foods and too many gluten-free grains. Is this you? Do you eat like a gluten-free muffin every day and then gluten-free pasta at some point and a slice of gluten-free bread? Are you doing that? Even though, and Yes You Can Get Pregnant, I say limit yourself to 1 serving a day of something like that. What I have seen across the board when I am gathering food diaries from clients is they are eating multiple servings of gluten-free grains, gluten-free packaged processed foods. It's not what I had intended. Many of the women following these diets are still, this is the key. So if you are following a diet like this, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, no artificial sweeteners, you're organic, you're pesticide-free, you're non-GMO, you're eating mainly protein, vegetables, and fat. If you're following a diet like this, and get this, you are still suffering from inflammatory issues like PMS, heavy periods, clots with your periods, miscarriage, brain fog, headaches, fertility challenges, skin issues, gas, bloating, irregular bowel movements, low energy, the diet isn't working. It's not working. It's not good enough. We got to get better. Many of these diets don't take into account gut dysbiosis, which is tremendously important. Gut dysbiosis probably is the #1 reason for every single modern disease, including fertility challenges that exist right now. Many of these diets don't take into account gut dysbiosis and impact on nutritional deficiencies impacting hormones and fertility. None of these fertility diets, including Yes You Can Get Pregnant, are elimination diets. The egg quality diet is an elimination diet. And I'll get into that why in a second, which is absolutely key because every woman has a different body. Many of these diets don't stress that you can't out-supplement. And this really goes for a lot of the other fertility books out there where they lead with supplements. And they have like dozens of supplements that they recommend. Dozens of herbs that I think are recklessly recommended. As an herbalist, as someone who's been studying with an herbal mentor for 7 years, I feel very strong in that statement and very firm in that statement that herbs should not be recommended unless you meet with an herbalist. I think you can be reckless and harmful, and that includes herbs like Vitex. And even maca. You shouldn't just throw them out there in any book. Many of these diets don't stress that you can't out-supplement an unbalanced, nutrient-poor diet. Even more if you don't have optimal digestion, meaning little to no gas or bloat and a healthy form bowel movement 1 to 2 times a day, you're not absorbing nor getting benefit from those costly supplements if you can't absorb them. Did you take that in? You can't out-supplement a crappy diet. I stole that statement from a good friend, Nicole Jardum. She's the Fix Your Period girl. You can't out-supplement a crappy diet. You can't out-supplement a crappy diet, and you can't out-supplement poor gut health. You gotta fix the gut. So, I want to go through. So what I talk about in Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, I want to just go through. The foundations are there and they're strong and I think they're spot on. Obviously, I wrote the book. I still believe in the book. I love the book. I go through in the chapter scientific research showing that eating fat and egg and antioxidant-rich foods, avoiding pesticides and genetically modified foods can help optimize egg quality. Ashwagandha is in the same category, Andrea, that I think you need to be very cautious with recommendations of herbs. And ashwagandha is an herb. It's an adaptogenic herb, but it could have negative impact on people with autoimmunity issues or Hashimoto's. And it's just not the right herb for every single person. As a Chinese herbalist, that is not how we recommend herbs. We never recommend individual herbs. We are all about herbs working together in a symbiotic relationship in a specific formula for that specific patient. Do I think that they can do a ton of harm? Not necessarily, but I do think as an herbalist, it's reckless to just recommend herbs, especially in a book. I just downloaded the latest Amazon Kindle book. Oh, amazing. You guys are amazing. Yay. Thank you. So yeah, the Egg Quality Diet is out and it is on Amazon, ebook and paperback. It's also on all the indie bookstores, Barnes and Nobles, Target, wherever books are sold. You too can get your copy. It is ranking high in the bestseller list across women's health and fertility and endometriosis on Amazon, so I'm so grateful. But go back to this book. So I talk about research and science, which was out and definitely prominent when I wrote this book in 2014. Then I also talked about traditional Chinese medicine and how we view diet. My book is arriving on Monday. Yay, Robbie, I'm so excited. So Chinese medicine, when it comes to health and fertility, qi, which is our vital energy, we call it in Chinese medicine, and I defined that earlier in this book, and if you guys have been following along with book club, you already know what qi, blood, and essence, those are our three vital substances in Chinese medicine, super duper duper important to fertility, to hormones, to longevity, to your ability to procreate. We talked about qi a few times already, but let me recap. Qi is the building block of life, the core of health and vitality. It is life force, and the number one place where we get our qi is from the food that we eat. Okay? So think of this. Organic, shiny red apple growing in a beautiful apple orchard that's food filled with qi. Versus a plastic, pasteurized, packaged applesauce foodstuff with added synthetic and vitamins, food coloring, high fructose corn syrup purchased in a fluorescent lit store. That's dead food. There's no qi in that food. So for 5,000 years, Chinese medicine has preached the necessity of eating a diet full of life-giving, nutrient-dense, qi-rich foods, which maximizes overall health, including fertility, by improving the quality of your entire reproductive system, your uterus, your ovaries, fallopian tubes, menstrual cycle, most importantly, the eggs that you ovulate each month. Eating qi-rich foods fills you with an abundance of qi that leads to vibrant health, optimal fertility. Alternatively, eating crappy processed packaged foods leaves you with nothing to create life. You want to create life, you need to have an abundance of qi and blood and essence, our vital substances. You need to be overflowing. I got all this stuff. I am so healthy and vital, and now I have enough to make a healthy, vital child. So I go on to talk about the general guidelines of the diet. Eat more cooked food than raw food. That's a Chinese medicine principle. Vegetables should be fresh, organic. We should be eating a lot of vegetables. Animal products should be organic, pasture-raised, or grass-fed. The 6 big no's that we are to avoid. This is still consistent with the egg quality diet. So I like to point out my consistency because that makes me feel like I definitely have the integrity that leads my life. No gluten, no genetically modified foods, no soy, no added sugars, no pesticides, no artificial sweeteners. And I didn't have no dairy in here. I have a little section on dairy where I say, let's see where I say it. Somewhere in here. Let's see where I say it. I know I talk about dairy somewhere in here. I talk about gluten-free products and corn. That's an important one. Corn can be found in many processed packaged gluten-free foods. So you want to make sure you're buying things that are non-GMO and ideally avoiding corn. I talk about healthy fats you should cook with. I talk about liver. Oh, dairy. So I say for dairy, eat 4 ounces 2 times a week. Preferably, it is fermented. And then I also say, do not eat dairy if you have autoimmune thyroid disease or a dairy allergy. Also see Chapter 10 for other instances where it's best for you to not eat dairy. So I put dairy in the diet, and yes, you can get pregnant, with very strong asterisks, strong notations of who needs to avoid it and why. So the things you are to eat: animal protein, fat, fruits, and vegetables. Same thing here in this diet. Animal protein, fat, fruits, and vegetables, okay? I talk about healthy fats you should cook with: olive oil, coconut oil, butter, pastured, fermented, ghee, sesame oil. I talk about eating things like eggs, 8 to 12 per week. Meat, 4 to 6 servings per week. Liver, super important. 3 to 4 ounces per week of liver. Liver is one of the best antioxidant, anti-aging, fertility-boosting foods that exist. It is a rich source of folate, B12, pantothenic acid, riboflavin, inositol, niacin, selenium, vitamin A. A single 3.5 ounce portion of pan-fried chicken livers contains 3 times as much folate as an equivalent serving of raw spinach. Liver is my secret weapon to fertility. Chicken, I say to only have 2 servings a week of chicken. And homemade bone broth, 8 ounces, 3 to 5 times a week. Oh my God, I have egg yolk all over my sweatshirt. So you guys now know what I was eating for breakfast. And that maybe I didn't shower yet today. Fish, I say 6 to 10 servings of fish per week. Salmon, sardines, halibut, mackerel, oysters, clams, cod, broil, steam, or grill. Fish roe, 1 ounce, 1 to 2 times per week. Full fat dairy, 4 ounces 2 times per week. But then I mentioned, do not eat dairy if you have an autoimmune condition. I was very clear on that, and yes, you can get pregnant, which I am super proud of, because the data wasn't so clear then as it is now about autoimmunity and dairy. Butter. I do have butter here, which is different in Egg Quality Diet. Egg Quality Diet, I only have ghee. But I do say here, pastured, fed, full-fat butter is a great source of A and K. I still feel that way, but only for people that can process dairy. Ghee is dairy-free butter, if you will. It's clarified butter. The dairy proteins are scraped off the top. I talk about eating healthy fats, organic nuts and seeds. So these are some of the differences now we're going to start to hit into with the Egg Quality Diet and why. I want to just point out the differences why. So again, this is a great diet. Eat fruits and vegetables. I say... So for fruit, where's my veggies? Oh, veggies, I say I want you eating, 3 to 5 servings a day of vegetables. So I have since gone higher than that. Now I'm in the 6 to 8 servings because I just see how important it is. And I also see that if I say 3 to 5, people get 1 to 2. If I say 6 to 8, people get 3 to 5. So keep that in mind. Sometimes I am overshooting so that you hit the gun. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I talk about juicing and fertility and how it's not super great because it's raw. Leafy greens, cruciferous. So I get into all the vegetables. I talk about alcohol. I talk about caffeine. I talk about limiting yourself to 1 cup of organic tea or coffee a day, less than 100 milligrams, not having coffee on an empty stomach. I talk about supplements in this chapter. I'm a big fan of supplements. Cod liver oil, green superfood or spirulina, probiotics. Those are my top 3, and then including liver. So that is the basics of the Yes You Can Get Pregnant diet, which again, I think is an amazing starting point. I think it works for a lot of women. I think especially too. So I want to just go through, I don't want to go ahead in the chapters, but the other difference in this book versus Egg Quality Diet, which just came out, is I give you, let me just see, a day in the life. Then I go into environmental toxins, then preparing yourself mentally, emotionally. Then there is a day in the life where I give you 7 days of a menu. 7 days. I don't think that was enough. So I move into the egg quality diet next because I want to point out some differences and the whys behind those differences. So the egg quality diet is not just 7 days of a menu. I give you 100 days, 15 weeks. I also give you a shit ton of recipes. Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, I think it has some good recipes in here. It has some bone broth. It's got, let's see, homemade health bars, hummus, but like maybe 10 recipes. I think we have like 30 or 40 recipes in this book. 100 days of menus. We have shopping lists in this book. We have everything's macronutrient balanced for the best macronutrients for fertility. So this is the stuff I've learned between 2014 and 2021. That's a lot of years. That's 7 years, guys. Can you take spirulina if you have hypothyroidism? You can. It just, everybody reacts differently. So hypo is typically fine. Sometimes Hashimoto's patients don't respond well to spirulina, but you won't know until you try it. Some people do perfectly fine on it, some don't. Everybody's so different. So the difference is here with the egg quality diet, 100 days versus 7 days. A couple dozen recipes versus about a dozen recipes. Meal plans, shopping lists, macronutrient balance, specifically for fertility. None of that. This is an elimination diet. This is not. And so this is what I want to get into and why. So what I realized writing this book, awesome starting point, so helpful for so many, definitely works for a lot of people. This book has sold thousands and thousands of copies reaching women all over the world, has definitely helped them optimize their fertility, balance their hormones, get pregnant. There's so many more pieces to this book though than just diet. There's lifestyle, there's mindset, there's mantras and mudras, and I talk about chemicals in your environment. Like there's so much in this book, but we're talking about diets right now. So the diet in this book. So as I began continuing to practice, and after I wrote Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, so many people started coming to me, and I started seeing food diaries, and I started seeing that people were eating too many processed, packaged, gluten-free grains. They weren't eating enough vegetables. They definitely weren't eating enough fat. They were still keeping sugar in their diet, even though I had asked them to cut out added sugars or stay below 10 grams. And I still saw a lot of inflammatory symptoms. So if you don't know what inflammatory symptoms are, there's an entire checklist in this book. It's the Kinks in Your Body questionnaire. You should go through it. I recommend in this book that you go through it every single week to see how your symptoms are changing. These symptoms are signs of inflammation. They could be things like miscarriage or brain fog, joint pain, headaches, sinus issues, skin issues, GI issues. There's all sorts of signs and symptoms that show that your body is still dealing with levels of inflammation that are too high to for optimal fertility. So what I did was started looking at what are the other foods that are good for us that could be potentially inflammatory. When I wrote my book, Body Belief, I figured out a whole bunch and how they impact the immune system and inflammation in the body. And so that book, Body Belief, is all about autoimmunity. It is an elimination diet based on the autoimmune paleo diet, but then I mixed in some Chinese medicine. So what I did in the egg quality diet is similar. It's an elimination diet, and we are eliminating all the way down to the bare bones. We take out not just gluten, dairy, soy, artificial sweeteners. We're not just eating organic. We are taking out foods that are rich in lectins, like nuts and seeds and beans. And again, it's an elimination diet. That does not mean forever. We're not eliminating these foods forever. We are eliminating them and then adding them back in to see how our body feels. So what you are doing with this book is you're figuring out your specific fertility diet, which this book does not offer you. I love this book. I'm very proud of this book. I will forever continue to push this book and talk about this book. I think it's a genius book. And I, again, think the diet is a great starting point for many people. But this diet is really going to help you heal your gut lining, improve and regulate your immune system, improve your ability to absorb your nutrition so that every single cell in your body gets the nutrients it needs so your body can function optimally, your hormones can balance, you can get and stay pregnant. And then you get to add back in the foods you removed. Some people might discover, hey, I can eat dairy. Hey, I can have soy in moderation. It should only ever be fermented, non-GMO soy products, a couple ounces a couple times a week. Some people might even figure out, I can actually have fermented gluten grains. I can actually have sourdough. Some people might figure that out. Some people might figure out, I can't eat nightshade vegetables. Guess what? Lentils, oh my gosh, they crushed my system. I had no idea lentils did that to me. Nuts. I figured out almonds. I can't really do almonds. I definitely can't do peanuts. I can't do cashews. Never knew that before, right? I was still dealing with these inflammatory symptoms. I still got pregnant naturally in my 40s, so I was so lucky, but it's probably because I had all the other inflammatory foods out of my system that my body could process the almonds once in a while, right? But I was eating so many of them at one point because I was paleo, and what do you do on paleo? You eat a shit ton of nuts. Wasn't working for my system. I had to go and discover an elimination diet. So this is what I guide you on here. So I think the best place is if you're doing this and you're still not pregnant, or if you're following a general fertility diet and you're still dealing with symptoms, you're still not pregnant, and or you have an autoimmune condition that you know of, or endometriosis, an inflammatory condition, this is where you want to go, because this diet really helps you figure out exactly what your body needs while you're resetting your gut, while you're healing your gut, while you're resetting your microbiome, while you're improving absorption, helping your immune system regulate itself, and thereby balancing your hormones. Did you know that if you have gut dysbiosis, your body can't process estrogen and progesterone properly? So you're going to have hormonal imbalances. So I want you to think about like which diet is better for me? Well, I think this is a great place to start. If it doesn't work, you should move to this. If you've been fluctuating around diets and jumping all around, this is probably, I think an elimination diet will teach you so much about your health, regardless if you're trying to get pregnant or not, but you get to learn. And it's really about 40 days of strict elimination. 50 days of strict elimination. Then at the other 50 days, you're adding foods back in. So it's not that long where you are eliminating foods that you're eating on a regular basis. But the one thing I pose to all of you is, if what you are doing is not working, why do you continue to do it? If what you are doing is not working, why do you continue to do it? If you are a vegan or vegetarian and you are not getting pregnant and you still have rough periods and you're not ovulating on time, why on earth are you still eating that way? If you are eating paleo or Mediterranean and you're still not getting pregnant and you're still having miscarriages and you're not making good quality eggs and you're doing IVF and it's unsuccessful, why are you continuing to do it? I love you. I respect you. I am cheering for you, but I am also here to push the envelope for you guys. You have 50 days to give me on an elimination diet to figure out what your body needs. You have that. Your body is worth it. Your health is worth it. Your future children are worth it. You have 50 days to start healing your gut and then learning what foods work well with your body and what foods do not. You have 50 days to eat a macronutrient balanced diet that is specific for fertility. You got that. You have that, okay? And so I beg of you, what's holding you back, right? I've done the research. The research is out there. You can improve the quality of your eggs even as you get older. Your hormones and your egg quality are more about your internal health, the levels of inflammation in your body, than they are about your age. The data is there. If your doctor says that that's not true, your doctor hasn't looked at the research. Your doctor needs to look at the research. Yes, as we get older, things decline in our body, but that just means we have to learn how to fine-tune the machine better. That's all that is, and that's what this is. This is fine-tuning the machine, because what you're currently doing is not working. So you give me, I know you've given so much to this journey already, and I know it can be exhausting, but you have 100 days in you. And 50 of them where they're probably super strict. You got that. So some questions here on Facebook. Let me just go through. I just downloaded the latest book. That's amazing. My egg quality diet book will be here Monday. Amazing. Amy, I need one. Okay, Tamara. I have both. Which should I gravitate to? One doctor said I have POF, and he said perimenopause, which left me sad. Sandra, I would probably just, so here's the other thing with the egg quality diet. I don't cover all of the lifestyle diet, all of the lifestyle and mindset in Quality Diet as I do in Yes, You Can Get Pregnant. This book is mainly a diet book. But what I do is, once you get like halfway through the book, each week, so every week, there's 15 weeks in this book. Every week has weekly tips and daily tips. In the weekly tips, starting about week 8 or 9, I start layering in, like, this is stuff you should do for your mental health. This is stuff you should do for your bath and beauty products. These are the supplements you should take. There's a resources page that goes with this book, which is prolific. There is a lot of information on there. It might be too much information. We are trying to figure that out. But I wanted to give you so much that you could continue to learn on your own. So I do think you should have both books. But I also think if it's a time-sensitive issue, if you've been told you have premature ovarian failure, you're in menopause, you should jump into this book. Okay, I'm so excited. I'm going to get it today. This is amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys, let's see. The name of the book is A Quality Diet. Would I need to make any modifications if super high cholesterol? So your cholesterol is high because your liver isn't doing its job properly. So probably not. When you removed refined grains, even if they're gluten-free grains, your cholesterol will go down. When you increase the amount of vegetables and you drink my liver support soup every day, as recommended in this book, your cholesterol will go down. Besides salmon, which meats did you say? So, I typically recommend, you can go to Monterey Bay Aquarium's Seafood Watch site, and you can see all the different seafoods that I think are healthy and safe for us to be eating, depending on the region you live in. Meats, they should always just be grass-fed, pastured. Fish should be wild-caught, ideally. Can you take spirulina? Okay, I already answered that question. Let's see. All right, guys. So, I feel like I've done a good job. So this is still my pride and joy, this book, and I love it, and I think it's a great recommendation. But I think if you want to level up, this is where you go. Because again, 100 days versus 7 days, 30 to 40 recipes versus 10 or so recipes, menus, shopping lists, meal plans, the most up-to-date research as of 2021, which this is the hot new release in fertility books, and there's a reason why, because it's the most researched and put out by someone like me who has 20 years of clinical experience. So I know what can work. I'm not going to lie, the diet can be a little intense for those first 50 days, but you can do it. And I think your body deserves it. I think your gut health deserves it. I think you deserve it. So go and check it out. But of course, make sure you have the sister book as well. Yes, You Can Get Pregnant. Okay, guys, I'm going to head off for the day. I will see you all soon. So thank you so much. Again, remember, head over anywhere books are sold to buy a copy of the Quality Diet. We have linked it out here on Facebook. Instagram, you guys can go to my website, amyroth.com/books, and you can click the link there to order the book. If you have the book, I want to see pictures of you with the book and tag me in it on social so I can share. I want to see recipes of you cooking the recipes. Tag me in it so I can share. I really want to see reviews. The more reviews, the better. It really helps us reach more women. The best place to leave reviews is on Amazon, because that's where people tend to go to buy their books. And I'm trying to reach 100 reviews by the end of this week. Will you help me? Okay, guys, I love you. I'll see you all later. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Ciao for now. Bye, Instagram.